Well, I think there's hints of a reversal of policy at the Fed. Not that I know this for a fact, but I'm talking about reversal of policy of taper, because now they're starting to talk about some of the things that have been said in the behind-the-scenes meetings with the Fed, and Janet Yellen was actually one of the ones that really recognized the severity of how bad the economy was. And, people are sometimes criticizing her because, she's going to do all this QE, but, the one point I really have with criticism is in other words, if you're going to do a stimulus and just, say, throw money from a helicopter, more or less, it should go into the hands of the most highly productive people, and it should be for the construction of capital assets that could be the benefit of the public for many decades to come. In other words, like when the Hoover Dam was constructed, that's one deal, and if there was something like aquifers, anything, canals, roadways, where bridges need to be repaired, something like that. Versus just bond buying or something, But it looks like, I have to say this because, I know people get pissed off at me because, or some people do. It depends on who it is, because, maybe it is. I do like the Jewish people in business, and I think they do a good job in America to facilitate trade, and they're workaholics. From my experiences anyway. And I know there's always these conspiracy theories out there about all this stuff, and sometimes they're somewhat true. Now, I just want to point out that Janet Yellen, she's Jewish, we know that, but she's all right. She's all right. I think she's going to do the best job she can do. And, I almost guarantee you when this price of silver and gold is moving up and she's has to do more stimulus because the economy actually really is bad, they're going to be throwing stones at her left and right. And I don't know, these silver tards are pissing me off with that kind of crap, because there's nothing, it's like one person, that's what they can do, and it's all they can do. She does recognize that there's a severe problem in the United States with the economy. She recognized it from day one, and it looks like they're going to back off on the taper. I kind of figured they would. I mean, I don't really know how this would work mathematically, because they say they're doing, they're going to back off the bond buying purchases, and, China's not buying the U.S. debt, and they're adding all this debt because they got to approve the budget for more debt for next year. How the hell are they going to keep interest rates low? And if interest rates creep up, what's going to happen to the construction industry and all the big industries out there that, where people buy things on credit? It's going to kill it, right? I mean, there's only a one-way thing you could do with this. And I'm going to tell you right now, actually, most people could actually, as an individual basis, could fix the economy. Because, say, for instance, all the bankers and everything just, evaporated. There was like this... Jesus came down from the skies and he zapped every banker out there that was the evil ones, and they all just disappeared. Well, it's not going to make all the goods and services and everything start flowing again. People actually have to work. I'm going to have to put it to you that way. I mean, silver, is like a safety against the currency if the currency gets devalued greatly. That's all it is. It's not going to, generate money for you. It just sits there like a freaking rock, right? It's obvious. I'm pointing out the obvious. But I'm going to tell you this. In my shrewd little mind, I think that silver is going to have a hyperbolic spike. Maybe not this year. It's probably going to do very well this year. I think it's going to do very well this year, and then come back down again. If it does extremely well this year and breaks into all new highs. But it's going to have a hyperbolic spike maybe a few years from now, where it's almost going to be like probably one of the best investments you could ever make. That damn good. So, I plan to keep the bulk of it until such time. I might sell a little bit this year. Well, if silver goes way over 50 this year by some God unforeseen circumstances like the war with Iran or something like that, and all these catastrophic problems, I will sell a little bit of physical, but I'll probably put it into some other goods. I might even go a little more with solar panels or something like that, because I think in the long term there's going to be a lot more problems. And but I am not one. I swear to God, man. I sometimes I peruse the other alternative media stuff out there, and I'm like, oh my God, man, these guys are driving me nuts, because they're a bunch of, I'm sitting here right now in a chair, so you can say I'm playing armchair, but I do stuff. And not only that, I am mainly accounting and finance. I can actually talk on these subjects and tell you a lot about investments, taxation, accounting methods, and depreciation schedules, and a lot of different things about a lot of different industries. Now, I know there was a chart that was passed around. I'll just get a little bit on finance right now. I know there was a chart that was passed around about the stock market crashing possibly into oblivion because it's showing the same pattern as the 1920s. Now, there is a little caveat to that, because I said that it's not going to crash like that, right? But there are going to be certain stocks that may crash like that. There may be certain stocks. Not the overall S&P as an aggregate is not going to crash like to oblivion and go down 70 to 90%. It might crash maybe even up to 40%, but I think 30% would be a good step backwards. But you got to remember, there was a 30% charge upward in 2013 too, so it's not too unreasonable to say that it could be a 30% correction. But I think some of the areas that are going to see the worst performance in stocks, where you're going to see the stocks really crash, use a little common sense. First off, in entertainment, in like say, well, you know what happened with somebody, the movies, like when they had them on the tapes and stuff like that. And I forgot, the Blockbuster, what happened with them? What happened to that? What happened to that? The internet came out and it just destroyed it, right? I think where some of the things where people are actually going to cut back, when they're saying discretionary spending or disposable income, a lot of times people are going on the internet and they're using the internet as their television. They're using the internet. Now I have been doing that for quite some time, because I never liked any of the garbage that was on TV. I don't care if I had 500 more channels or what. It was all stupid stuff. I'd rather go on the internet. Actually, YouTube is a good venue, because you're seeing information from like a gazillion different sources. It's like wide open. Actually, YouTube's probably going to go up in value. I don't know. Some people say it's bad. Some people, I don't know. Actually, I think it's good, definitely overall. It may turn bad after a while. There could be, it seems to always be a cycle of life to everything, But, for now, it's good. But the thing is, I think like those are areas where people could substitute, like say Netflix or something. That might get clobbered. They might get clobbered. Also, there's a lot less, the disposable income out there. Net disposable income. Now, you saw this on the retail price of gasoline. The retail sales of gasoline for consumers. It was dropping, even though in the last 5 years, it's way down. It's way down. It's not only that people not driving to work because there's unemployment, as higher unemployment than what the government statistics are saying, but there's also less people driving for fun and pleasure on the weekend. And, that's also telling you that people are not buying a lot of little goods from a lot of department stores. You know what happened with Kmart, you know what happened with Circuit City. They got clobbered. A lot of these department stores that are retailers are going to get clobbered. You know why? Because there's other statistics out there showing this, because retail sales were clobbered in this last year, in Christmas. The chart shows retail sales down like this, and the employment of retail workers is still up, which means it's going to wind up that these people are going to wind up getting laid off, and they're actually going to be showing up on the government unemployment rolls, and then Janet Yellen's actually going to have to use more stimulus. Now, I know the alternative media in the silver crowd is going to be criticizing the hell out of this lady, and I tell you what, I don't know, it pisses me off, to tell you the truth. I think this lady's going to do the best job she could possibly do. She's one woman, and like I said, if, say for instance, there was this second coming of Christ or something. I'm getting really, I don't even know, actually believe in all that stuff too much, but, say there was, and they came back, and he clobbered all the bankers that were the evil bankers, not the good ones. There's good ones and bad ones, right? Say they all just went whack. He clobbered them all. Well, you know what? It's not going to make goods and services flow again. So, I just have to point that out, So, no matter what the heck Janet Yellen does, it's not going to actually, she's not going to actually run the factories. She's not going to be out there, building stuff and everything. She's going to do the best job she can. I think this lady's all right, to tell you the truth. And you're going to see silver going up and everything like that. But I swear to God, I wish these jerks in the freaking silver and gold world would shut their damn mouths and quit throwing stones at some of these people. Because first off, they're making her policies are going to actually cause you to make more money in dollars because your silver's going to go up, and they're going to be throwing stones at her. That's what I see. And in reality, she's a lady that actually recognizes that the situation in the United States is bad, and she's doing her best job she could possibly do against it. And you got to remember, it's one person. That's all there is to it. And I swear to God, I know what these jerks are going to be doing, man. They piss me off to the max. Oh, God. Survive Armageddon. You're going to tell me how to survive Armageddon on YouTube, huh? You're going to tell me how to survive Armageddon. You're going to tell me how you know about the elite, and you know everything about the elite, and you're spilling the beans on YouTube. You're going to tell me how there's a secret place down there in Tijuana, Mexico, where all the elite go. Just pay $100,000 and this doctor freaking fix you up with cancer, right? You're going to tell me all this stuff, right? Bullshit. God, man. There's so much of this, this is what aggravates me about the alternative media. Now, I'm semi-alternative media. I am. I don't like a lot of these, high and mighty freaking financial wizards out there, and I never liked them, That's one reason I keep one foot in the how-to redneck type area, a little bit like that stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's an Italian thing. I don't know. But I just have to tell you that problems aren't going to fix by just policy. And I got to tell you this, too. This is a #1 beef of mine. And maybe this is a little more like a, bitch or something. But I'm bitching about something. But, a lot of people get pissed off at the president, whoever the hell he is, right? They didn't like Obama for second term, and they didn't like Mitt Romney. So what did they do? They don't do nothing. You know what I did? I picked a third party. And the way I look at it is, even if the guy loses, if they get enough votes to get matching federal funds. So by you just pulling a lever, people were throwing all kinds of money at like Ron Paul and stuff like that. And I'm like, this guy is not, I know he wasn't going to go nowhere because he's, he'll give all the money to his family. His whole family was running his campaign and shit. I'm just saying is, if you really want to upset the apple cart where the establishment has control, vote third party all the way. Even if they lose and you say, oh, that's a wasted vote. If the third party gets enough votes, guess what happens? They get federal matching funds. And when they get federal matching funds, there's that much more to get your message across. It's like you contributed a lot of dollars by just pulling a lever because the federal government is going to give them matching funds for everything they have. So, if you really want to change the situation where, the system's rigged against us, if a lot of people can bitch about that, you got the power to do it, man. And nobody does it. I'd say in the presidential election, I don't even think this last presidential election, with all the dissatisfaction, all the bad economy, and all the things that were going on, and the FEMA camps are coming, and you got Darth Vader out there showing on Alex Jones' show. How many people actually try to vote out both parties? Less than 1%. Less than 1%. How difficult was that to do? It's simple as all hell. You pull a lever. That's all you got to do. And I voted for Garrett. I probably would have stood more for the Constitutional Party, but I went for libertarian on Gary Johnson. I think Gary Johnson was good. But if I really wanted to say strictly what do I thought was the best, would probably be the Constitution Party. But you know, say you totally disagree with that. They got the Green Party. Say you're an environmentalist and you just think that Obama's caving into the oil companies. You know, like just people like that. They think that, you know, Obama's not doing this or that or whatever. Just caving into the oil companies. Go ahead and, you know, vote. I mean, if the Green Party, you know, I don't agree with the Green Party, but I'm just saying it's another freaking thing. It's another voice. It's another voice. It's like these, it's too hard to control. You know, if you got like a dozen different parties out there, it's going to be pretty tough and hard. It's going to be pretty difficult to control the situation. But the elite aren't going to be able to control the situation. I was going to say, the alternative media is so screwed up, man. They're like, well, what's probably going on is, you know, more than likely, and I always suspected this, you know, Lenin has always said this, you know, Vladimir Lenin, whatever his name was, he always said this, the best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. You know, the famous communist Lenin, to lead it ourselves, and that's probably what's going on with the alternative media. Because actually, you know, we don't really have a problem with a lot of things that, you know, they're throwing stones at, and them just throwing stones at stuff isn't fixing any damn thing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. But I'm gonna say this again. I think that silver's gonna have a, it might have a very fast rise this year. But I swear to God, I know what's going to happen. The alternative media is going to be out there with their propaganda machine to the max, knocking everything there is about the United States, knocking everything there is about the federal, you know, the Janet Yellen or whatever the hell it is. And the lady's doing is what the hell she can, best thing she can do. That's all there is to it. I mean, you know, if the Federal Reserve all disappeared overnight, and you know what? Manna wouldn't fall out of the sky. You know, there wouldn't be loaves of bread and fishes falling out of the sky. You'd have to make it happen. That's all there is to it. So people are looking for an easy answer. And they're actually, the reality of the situation is, this is why it gets bad. Because people, when the economy is good, nobody gives a shit, basically. When the economy is good, nobody cares. It don't matter if there's political corruption, this is going on, or, you know, as long as you got what you got, nobody cares. And then when the economy turns south, then people start looking in the background. Well, what happened? What's wrong? Who's to blame? And everything like that. That's really what the situation is. People are very, very lethargic once they got what they want. That's 99% of the problem. That's why I say a lot of times it is not exactly the elite. It is actually the 99%. We got the freaking best damn system in the world in the United States, and we can change it real fast. Not the system. We can change all the corruption. We can knock it out real fast. But I say, once the corruption's gone, what's going to happen? Is everything going to fall out of the sky like manna's going to fall out of the sky and everything's going to be fine? No. So I just want you to keep this in mind with your silver investment. But silver is a shrewd investment right now. I'll leave you with that. It's extremely shrewd. Oh, it's so shrewd. It's like there's a million different ways it's shrewd. And I'm saying this because it's going to go up, not due to fundamentals, not because the mines are running out of, you know, I mean, the mines are going to actually have a problem getting started back up again to full production when, say, the industrial demand and investor demand starts pumping in there again. But it's going to move up due to investor panic. And once the panic starts, people start reading the graphs and they start seeing, hey, it's going up. It can, you know, the next point where it should actually peak is here, and it can go triple from here or double from here. And there's going to be more people piling on, and that's when it goes into a hyperbolic bubble. And that it will happen with silver. It's going to hit prices where it should not go to. That's where you're going to make a lot of money. It's got a few years down the road, but I think this year it's still going to do okay. But it's going to do okay, and then, you know, I know what's going to happen. The alternative media is going to be slamming the shit out of the people left and right, blaming. It's like, you know, what they're doing is they're biting the hand that's feeding them. Basically, that's really what's going on with this alternative media crowd. You know, if Janet Yellen's policies actually cause silver to go up, great, great. But you know, to tell you the truth, that lady, I see her as somebody who's actually very much concerned about the employment in America, and she's very much concerned about the overall economic well-being, what's going on in the United States. She's going to do the best job she can. Now, I know people are going to be pissed off at me for saying this, but I'm just saying is, you know, if all the banksters in the world disappeared because Jesus came down from the sky and says, you bad guys are all dead and you're going to hell, it isn't going to fix the whole situation overnight. People got to still do their own thing. But as far as in the economy, it looks like the Fed is recognizing that the unemployment rate is a lot higher, so I know they're going to start backing off on a taper. The retail sales was off the side of the cliff in for Christmas, and that means there's going to be a lot more layoffs in the retail sector. The only part of the economy that looked good during in the winter during the end of 2013 was in the utility companies, which was because of the extreme cold weather, which was actually causing people to pay more money, which they didn't have. Then they couldn't spend on other areas. They had to pay it for heat and fuel and everything like that. So, I don't know. I'm probably going to put out some videos on this Armageddon bullshit because these guys don't know what the hell they're doing. And most of them don't know what the hell they're doing. And also, I'm going to keep up on some of these alternative health videos because there's a load of snake oil out there, and anything you practice with alternative health should not cost you $100 grand, and you don't have to go outside the country. You don't have to go outside the country. That's a racket. That's aggravating the hell out of me because, you know, there seem to be a lot of dirt thrown at anybody that's Jewish, but when you got these tax-free pastors out there running these operations and saying they're for Jesus and they're getting everything tax-free and they're doing the Lord's work, it seems like they got, you know, a free card everywhere they want. But, you know, if you're Jewish and you say that, you're the worst person in the world, right? I know I'm getting off on this subject, but this pisses me off, to tell you the truth. This pisses me off, man. I tell you the truth, man. It really does piss me off, you know? I mean, there's some truth to this stuff with the Rothschilds and stuff, but the Rothschilds aren't everybody. Just remember that shit, because as the economy goes down, people are going to be looking for scapegoats. And I already see the writing on the wall with this bullshit. And I'll tell you people I'm going to defend, man. It's going to be Jewish people, man, because I don't like that shit. If somebody's fucking around with them people, it's going to piss me off to the max. I'm telling you right now. So, I don't know. I could see this shit going on right now because it's alternative media. And I'm not Jewish, man. I'm Catholic. Alright? I'm Catholic. Okay? I'm just saying this because this alternative media, it almost like, I don't know. I don't even want to get on that angle because it's like they're pissing me off to the max. They're full of shit, basically. So anyway, over and out. I didn't put too much on silver in this video. But, do expect there's going to be certain areas of the economy that are going to get slammed. And basically, that's going to be in entertainment areas that you have to pay for, that you could actually probably go on YouTube or whatever, and you know, there's no cost involved. You know, like Netflix is probably going to get clobbered. A lot of the retail stores are going to get clobbered. Their stocks are probably going to go down. Well, Walmart and Target stocks are probably going to go down and shit like that. And you know, Janet Yellen's going to probably back off QE. She's going to get criticized like crazy, and silver's going to go up, and the sky's not going to fall right away. Armageddon's not going to happen right away. I'm going to put, because I went too long on this video, I'm going to put a separate video out what I think will tell you when Armageddon is going to start, and it's still not going to be the end of the world. Anyway, over and out.